Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Munashable and I'm a manifestation and soul realignment coach. My channel is geared towards helping you become your highest potential so that you can create and live the extraordinary life that is your birthright. In today's video, I'll be talking about why some intrusive thoughts may seem harder to release and then how you can actually release them. But before we get started, I just want to remind you that I offer both email and video coaching. So if you need help in manifesting any of your desires or in releasing any of your intrusive thoughts, then you definitely want to check out all my coaching options. They are in the description below. And please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon in order to receive a notification anytime I upload a new video. So let's get started. So I'm sure you hear a lot of manifestation coaches say you need to stop the opposing thoughts, you need to stop reacting to circumstances, you need to really control what's going on mentally in relation to your desire. But sometimes this is easier said than done. Sometimes when you are focusing on your desire, you tend to get some intrusive thoughts that may seem harder to let go of than others. And in some cases where you don't have a past old story or a past experience with your desire, it may seem easier to manifest than when you have a past story in relation to that desire. So it could be something like, let's say you're manifesting an SP and there has been past hurt or past pain in relation to that SP, or maybe there is a third party involved that is triggering to you. Or in some cases, let's say you're manifesting a lot of wealth, you're trying to manifest abundance, but you have a past story of trauma around that. It could be in relation to anything. You're manifesting health, but you've had a past where illness was there. So there are some things that may seem harder because of the feelings you have around that situation. And that's why in such cases you may have intrusive thoughts that come in that you may find more difficult to let go of in, let's say, a circumstance which is actually fresh and there's no old story around that. The thing is, you can do it in both circumstances, whether it's a brand new fresh slate or it's something where there is a past story involved that is triggering to you. So of course, there is no limitation around that in any shape or form. But let's dig deeper into those intrusive thoughts that are coming in. A lot of the time, those intrusive thoughts or opposing thoughts, I'm calling them intrusive because they kind of creep in and you have a trigger feeling around it. The thought itself is easy to redirect or release when there's no charge to it. So the charge is coming from the emotion. So let's say you're thinking about your SP and then automatically the thought of the 3P by association comes in that triggers you. If you were healed, when I tell you healed, I don't mean you've gone through therapy or you've done any form of healing work or any of that. It's about healing the thoughts around it. I'll tell you how to do that in a little bit. If you are unhealed around the situation, it may seem hard for you to let that go. It may seem hard to you to release that thought and redirect. Or if let's say you're manifesting money and you have financial losses you've experienced in the past, again, that is something that may seem difficult. And I had a client who I'm working with who told me that he's experienced financial losses that he finds very hard to digest, So the idea is that there is not just a thought, there is a charge to that thought. So what do I mean by a charge? There is a feeling or emotion that is tied to that. That feeling or emotion could be a feeling of guilt, shame, resentment, jealousy, anger, So it's a series of negative feelings or emotions that are tied to that thought. That thought could be a memory, or it could be even an assumption that something's going on. So also one of my clients told me last week that when she thinks about her SP, even though she doesn't know if there's a third party or not, she starts to imagine that he is with a third party. So there's that trigger of jealousy or unease or sadness that comes up. That is the part that needs to be healed. It's not so much the thought, it's the emotion that's tied to that thought that needs to be healed. So how do you heal it? Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there's no hard work involved. It's about just doing one of two things. And these have worked miracles with so many of my clients, and I have applied them in my own life as well. So the first thing you can do is purge these out. You bring a piece of paper and you list out all the feelings you have around that circumstance. So if it's financial loss, you list out every thought that feels painful, if that makes sense. So you might say, I've lost a lot of money, or I've lost my life savings, or I've experienced XYZ. That's the thought, right? But then there's an assumption behind that thought. So if you may experience financial losses, you can say, I don't make good decisions. That's the assumption that's behind it, right? That's why it feels painful. So there is a self-concept assumption that's behind it. It could be self-concept, it could be another assumption, but the idea is there is an assumption that is triggering an emotion. That is what we want to bring to light. So you list out what it is that you've experienced. Let's say it's financial losses, and then what's the assumption behind that? You're saying, I don't make good decisions. I don't make financial decisions. Or I experience bad luck. That's what my client told me. He said, I actually checked all the boxes. I did my due diligence before I went in and invested my money. And guess what? I still lost it because I am unlucky. So that assumption, that's painful to assume, and that's just an assumption, right? So you kind of need to list it out and say, what's the assumption behind that thought? Going into, let's say, another example, a 3P. So let's say you want to manifest your ex, but he or she is with a third party. So that's triggering feelings within you. You have to first identify what it is. What is the thought? You say, well, anytime I think about my SP, the 3P thought comes in. You list these out, and then the thing you need to do is say, okay, what is this thought telling me? You might say, my SP has not chosen me. I'm not chosen, or I'm not lovable. Someone else is more lovable. You kind of want to bring out the assumption behind the thought. When you do this, do this for any area of your life, whatever that desire is that's bringing about these intrusive thoughts, bring them about, and then bring out the assumption behind them. You are healing it. It's kind of like a purge. And in the process, you're healing yourself because you're bringing to your conscious awareness that subconscious assumption that's saying, I have done something wrong. I'm not good enough. I don't make good decisions. I'm unlucky in love. I am not chosen. I'm not lovable. There is an assumption there that is the part that needs to be healed. So that's the first way you can do this. Super easy. That's why when they say purge it out, like purge out these charged assumptions that have no truth. But sometimes the feeling is there, but not the identifying what that assumption is. This is the first excellent way to do this. The second way, which is actually easier because you don't even need to bring out what the assumption is you can do tapping. Tapping is a super powerful way to actually tap out that charged assumption, because you don't even need to identify what it is. It could be something as simple as, I've experienced financial losses in my past, or my SP has left me and now is with someone else. So there's that experience that you want to just neutralize the emotions you have around it. That's the word. Neutralize is make it almost like a blank slate, like it almost like it never existed. So that's why it's kind of becomes like that desire where you don't have a past story around it. It's you're wiping the slate clean. Both methods wipe the slate clean. Let's put it that way. So whether you do the first or the second. So the second way is through tapping. And there is the quick method of tapping. I don't know if that's even the correct word, but it's the fast way, which is you're not going into too much negativity in order to tap it out, because there are different ways of tapping EFT. What you do is you think about the situation that's super triggering to you, and you do this. You take 2 fingers, you start with the first side, you tap over your eyebrow, you think about it and you say, I release and let this go. Then you do it here. I release and let this go. I release and let this go. I release and let this go. And then you hold the opposite arm and you say, it's safe for me to release and let this go. And then you take a deep breath. And you say, peace. I will link the video of the person who does this. I came across this guy through Sammy Ingram. Amazing fast method, super powerful. It will really help you actually release it. You then do the same thing on the opposite side. You do, I release and let this go. 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 It's safe for me to release and let this go. You say peace. You will notice that your feelings around the situation are either completely gone or much less. If there's still a feeling, you repeat it on both sides until it is gone. I kid you not. My clients who were skeptical around this, who tried it, found that it works magic. And you only need to do it once around a thought or assumption or memory. So let's say there's a specific memory, you do it one time, it's literally neutralized. And the same thing for exercise 1. So if you do it again also for that memory or that thought pattern, you actually can release it. Now, sometimes you have different memories. You can do it for each one and release it. And this will literally be like a blank slate, starting fresh. And so what happens after this? You may have some thoughts come in, but you easily let them go. It's very magical. You no longer find it like it's a sticky thought that you can't let go of. You actually are able to let it go. It kind of just disappears. It's so magical. The thought just kind of, you find it super easy to release it and it's just not there anymore. You find yourself able to redirect and not think about it and release it. Whereas previous to doing one of the 2 exercises, you might find it sticky. You can't let it go. It's just like intrusive, and you find a lot of resistance around releasing it. This is a very super easy way to get rid of these intrusive thoughts so that you can now redirect your focus and attention on your desire and on manifesting it without these emotions coming in and triggering you. So this is essentially how you can do this. It is super powerful. Do it for anything. You will find that you are able to redirect and refocus just like that. It's that easy, guys. It is really that easy. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then please like, comment, and share. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.